Most people are making fitness way harder than it needs to be. I think so many people come to me just paralyzed and lost with where to even start when it comes to food, training, everything. You've got complicated macros, trendy workouts, supplement stacks, 6 week shreds or resets, carb timing, keto, paleo, and whatever the hell is trending and going online right now. But the result usually is burnout, inconsistency, starting over every few months. But the truth is, getting in shape doesn't require any crazy 30-step protocol or really a ton of time commitment on your end. It really just requires consistency with a few high leverage habits. So today we want to break it down, showing you how simple fitness can actually be when you stop overthinking it. And because ultimately it's way simpler than most people make it out to be.
Do you think we tend to do that in everything in life? Like just society in general, we tend to overcomplicate and make everything way more difficult than it has to be.
Oh, 100%.
So the fitness industry is no different, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's just accentuated in the fitness industry.
Yeah,
Or
no
maybe that's just
kidding.
because we're in it.
Yeah, we see it and feel it every day, right?
Yeah. But before we get into our simplistic habits, it's 4th of July is coming up this week as of this recording. What do you got planned?
Yeah, 4th of July. So 4th of July is a big day. My dad's birthday is actually 4th of July,
Oh,
which is kind of crazy. He's not a huge like celebration, type of guy. So it's never been like, a big deal to him or anything like that in terms of, sharing it with a holiday. I couldn't imagine though. How would you feel if your birthday was on a holiday? Would that bother you or would you like,
uh,
I don't care?
I feel like I wouldn't care just because I don't really care about my birthday in general. So I'm like, oh, it is what it is. I feel like my birthday is very close. My birthday is January 3rd, which is like right next to New Year. So I feel like it's kind of similar in that sense. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like those people that it really bothers them, they probably have a birthday on their holiday, and those that like don't care, like me, I'm not even close to holiday. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so we've always celebrated him, of course. So I always give him a call and talk to him for a little bit, and then our neighborhood goes like way above and beyond like fireworks show. Like it's like thousands of dollars. Like I think it's like 50% of our HOA budget goes towards fireworks, but they do put on a good show, and they do it. We have this area by the pool where we can do it at, and there's a lot of seating, so everyone comes out there and lawn chairs and sit around and they fire them off and they have it down, just the best way you could possibly do it. But it wasn't always like that when we built our house, and so in the beginning stages, it was kind of fun because everyone obviously in the neighborhood built their house and most of the people here had either young kids or hadn't had kids yet, and so we were all kind of like about the same age. And I'm pretty sure it was the first year that we were all there. All the phases had been built, and we had a 4th of July party. And it was really cool back then because everyone, like, we did everything together. Like, we'd have like a cookout, and then people would go swimming, and then we did fireworks. And like I said, it was the first time, so we hadn't really had any experience doing this. And there was another part of the neighborhood we decided to do, and it was just this like flat area of this field. And it was 4th of July. People had been drinking and stuff like that as well. And so we go out there, and of course it's all the men. We're like, oh, we'll set up the fireworks, and everyone else is kind of sitting around hanging out, and again, we have no idea what we're doing. We bought these big mega fireworks, and we start lighting them off, and we're like, we gotta get out of there. So we start running away, and this one guy is just, like I said, he probably drank too much, accidentally knocks over a couple of them.
Oh
Right,
no.
right. Like, go off. So we're like running. All of a sudden, these fireworks are going pew, pew, like firing like straight at people, and people are diving into the ground. And I felt like I was in like war, like explosions behind me, and kids and parents were, moms were diving, and it was total chaos. And of course, everyone afterwards was like, "Well, my gosh, we can't believe that." And so it was pretty funny. We had a pretty good time with it, but yeah, it was chaos. And next year we thought about it and mapped it out and planned it out better. So now we have it down pat. It's like a perfect situation. But so our neighborhood has a little fireworks show. It's fun.
It sounds like it's out of a movie. I feel like that's a scene that you've seen like some sort of comedy show or something.
Well, it was, and it was like slow motion because I was next to him, and I remember I saw him hit it. I was like, oh no! And you're like running like slow motion and like fire behind you, and it was a good experience. Obviously, a core memory.
Yeah, there. No, I feel like that's the type of stuff you remember the rest of your life. Clearly,
Yeah. What
that's
about you?
cool.
Do you have any Fourth of July like traditions, or are you doing anything fun this year?
No, I don't usually celebrate too much. And I feel like even fireworks, I'm like, it's up a little past my bedtime, especially because the sun goes down super late.
I
Um,
know. I'm always like, "Ah, why don't they do the fireworks earlier? Like, well, it's not dark out. You know, it doesn't get dark till 9:30. But so
right?
do what you
But
can.
yeah, I'm going, well, supposed to be going down to Anna Maria Island, which is like an hour south of where I am. Just get a little condo on the beach, just have a nice little sort of staycation, reset after a crazy month or so. But apparently there's a big storm coming, literally as of tomorrow, like through the whole weekend. So I feel like it's just going to be raining and flooded the whole time. So I don't know.
I know. I was watching that. Hopefully, it's because you never know. I mean, they're like might get bigger, it might get smaller, it might disappear, or whatever. So, who knows? Let's hope it fades away quickly.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't hit where you guys are going too. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, as of now, it is. So, like I said, let's hope that it's fading away quickly.
Yeah, man, it's you really can't do it. You can't plan anything here in the summer in Florida just because it rains every day and then these storms pop up out of nowhere. So I
I
always joke around. I'm like, can't have any fun around here,
know.
which is a lie, of course. But it's just I feel like every time I want to do something nice, like storms come in. But it is what it is.
I know. I feel like you kind of have to have the expectation that it's going to rain, and you just have to decide, hey, you know what? It's going to rain, but we're going to have sunshine. Plenty of time. We'll just appreciate the sunshine while it's around.
Yeah, I figured I'm just gonna make the most of it. If it's raining at the beach, I'll just go chill in the ocean while it's raining, like whatever.
There you
Just gonna
go.
have some
There you
fun
go.
with it.
Got to have a good attitude, right?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to continue our client spotlight. I'm really glad we're doing this. I think this is really cool. I think we need to pump up and shout out our clients that are rock stars. So this week it's going to be Adam, my buddy Adam. He is absolutely crushing it. So I'm just going to kind of go over some highlights of his journey so far. So strength gains like through the roof. I mean, like week after week, he's setting PRs, super intentional about it, increasing weight, pretty much across all major lifts. Numbers are phenomenal. He's down like over 30 pounds, and we've done it in a very sustainable, steady, and healthy way. Like we are confident, like we're not gaining it back, like no yo-yo-ness anymore. Um, he's looking leaner. Obviously, like I said, he's stronger. Some serious body recomposition, increased muscle mass. He's improved his body fat percentage. I would say he's like Mr. Consistency, like a master of habits.
Mhm.
Just totally crushes the protein target pretty much every single day. Workouts, even when on vacation, he's like, I got this. Let's do this. Step goals, consistent. A great mindset when it comes to nutritional growth. And what I mean by that is he's doing everything that he's supposed to do, but then like when he goes on vacation, or he has, pizza with his kids, or he has birthday cake on his birthday type of thing, work for travel routine, he works it in without derailing his progress. And then speaking of like travel, like he's just Mr. Consistent even on travel, Disney trips and cruises and everything. He's still, I think what the focus is, he wants to be as active as possible. He hits his workouts when he needs to be, and he makes good, intelligent choices without feeling like being super restrictive. So shout out to Adam. He is just absolutely crushing it. Love following and doing this journey together with him. And I can't wait to see what happens next. We've already talked about kind of the next focus and just dialing it more and just locking in that process.
Yeah, Adam, you are the freaking man. Like he really has been so down and since day one. You're just so consistent, steady progress. It's been amazing to see.
Yeah, that's been awesome. So way to go, Adam.
Yeah, and it's always fun getting to that point where you kind of achieve all the main goals that you set out for. Then you can talk about the next thing and like go on to more of the fun goals. So it sounds like that's where you guys are starting to get into.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Sweet. So getting into simplicity today, we just want to run through kind of a few main pillars of health and fitness and how to make it as simple as possible, the things that you need to focus on. and kind of ignore the rest of the noise and really just lock in on the basics and make sure that you're seeing the most results that you can with the least amount of effort.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, and I get it. I mean, a lot of people want to jump into like complex workout splits like right away, or 10 exercises per session, and I think it comes from a place of like I haven't been doing anything. I need to get in there and just punish myself, type of thing. And or they see some, especially nowadays, some influencer workout, and this guy's like shredded or this girl's shredded, and they're like, I want to be like that. I'm going to do exactly what he or she does. And I was actually talking to someone this morning, matter of fact, in a workout, and I'd made a comment to him the other day about something he was doing, and we were talking, and he came up to me again today. He said, "Hey, I want to ask you about what we were saying yesterday," and we had and we were talking about it, and I said, "Well, what's your plan?" And he kind of smiled a little bit, and he was like, "I mean, I don't really have a plan," and so I think that's we just make things so complex, too complicated, and we just need to make it way more simple. So whether you're trying to get fit, build muscle, feel better, we just don't need to we don't need to be fancy. That's what I was trying to get out. We need simplicity. And let's talk about workouts first. So full body workouts, 2-3 times a week, totally works for everyone. I even love like 5 days a week, like super short workouts, right? And you're getting everything in. It just comes down to being consistent with them. Focus on the compound movements, right? So compound lifts, a push, pull, hinge, squat, carry. We're talking about if you built your workouts around squats, deadlifts, lunges, rows, bench press, shoulder press, farmer carries, man, you have a solid workout. And most people will see tons of results just from that. And then challenging yourself, having that progressive overload. We've seen that person that goes to the weight rack and they grab their dumbbells and they're like, this is my weight, because they do the same thing over and over and over again. And I love the consistency with it, but they're not seeing results because they're just doing the same thing over and over again, right? And our body will get used to that. So challenge yourself with weight increases or rep increases. You want to do something to push yourself. And then steps. We really want to try to get in 8 to 10,000 steps a day. I like to make it a game, have fun with it. I was actually playing with the math this morning, and I said, okay, if the average person, let's say, walked for 3 minutes, that's it, for every hour, and let's say you're up for 10 hours, right? They would have 9,000 steps by the end of the day.
Oh, I like that math.
Yeah, and you bump up to 4 minutes, you're over 10,000.
Easy. See, that feels way more manageable. I feel like just looking at the number 10,000, people are like, oh man, how am I going to get that? Literally 3-4 minutes. That's all.
Everyone can do it, and again, like we just overthink things, and we make things way too complicated. And if we just sit down and break it down and say, okay, how can I do this? Let's come up with a plan. We usually figure it out.
Yeah, I love that. Keeping it simple. Couple workouts a week. Stick to those main compounds. Repeat it again and again. Try to beat that each week. Apply that progressive overload. Simple.
And be
That's
consistent, right? Do that every week.
Yeah, that's the key with all this is obviously you can't just do one workout or stick to the diet plan one day. Like it needs to be consistent. But yeah, this is literally what most of our clients do. They hit the best results of their lives by doing 3 times a week of strength training, just getting some steps in, making sure we're recovering, and they actually stick with it because it fits their schedule, like you were talking about. It's very manageable. We also don't do a ton of cardio with the clients. Like we don't, unless they have very specific endurance goals or training goals or stuff that we need to work on with that. Like a lot of times we're really just focusing on these basics, especially when it comes to fat loss. It's just building muscle, getting in a couple workouts a week, getting in our steps, easy.
Yep, easy, easy peasy, right?
So next up is nutrition. This one obviously can get a little bit crazy. You've got people cutting out fruit, afraid of carbs, trying to time their carbs around whatever lunar cycle or whatever's
Oh
going
boy.
on. But meanwhile, they're skipping protein and living on 100-calorie snack packs. So when it comes to nutrition, you don't need a detox. You don't need to track every macro. You don't need to cut out carbs, any main macros, sugars, or eat at weird timings throughout the day. Really, we just need to hit protein, need to eat mostly whole foods, and we need to do that consistently. That's literally what 99% of people are missing. So To dumb it down a little bit more, is just build every plate around protein. We want to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight generally. We want to prioritize whole foods probably about 80% of the time. So think fruits, veggies, fibers, stuff like that. Drink your water, and then just listen to your body as far as what foods work for you, what things don't. And those are the main basics of nutrition. Like that's the diet plan that you should be following.
Exactly. And we've had an episode on the different types of diets, and there are some that can be very valuable and beneficial, but for the most part, if it's not sustainable, it's not going to work for you, right? And we've worked with people that have dropped 20, 30, more than that without tracking macros, right? Just by eating real food, prioritizing the protein, eating a lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables, right? And you can still do this eating the food you enjoy. You just need to simplify and stop chasing those trends that are out there, and they look enticing, right? And they come up with these cool names, and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I should be doing that, And I think sometimes we get to the point where we're not seeing results fast enough, or and we're not just trusting that process, or we want to jump to the next big thing. We're like, well, I've only lost a few pounds, or I just started, but this one sounds really good. And we keep jumping to new trends, and we just don't give ourselves enough time to make things work. So foundation is simple: animal protein, whole foods, right? Balance. The rest is just noise.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get into those other trends and stuff just because they promise fast results. But
Mhm.
again, like we always talk about, yeah, sure, maybe doing some sort of detox or crazy diet. Yeah, you'll drop some weight fast. A lot of it's going to be water weight. And then you're going to end up back at square one and just repeating that cycle again and again. So seriously, just focus on these basics. That's all that matters. And that's what's going to move the needle the most and actually make sure that it sticks long term.
Yeah, and if you're really serious about this and you're doing it for your health, not just aesthetics, then you know we want this long term. We don't want to have to do this every single year, every couple of years type of thing. We want it to be sustainable. We want this to be able to last forever. So it's going to be a little bit slower. The process might take a little bit longer, but it's going to be so worth it in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about sleep. I keep referring to sleep as underrated because I think it is. We so overlook how important sleep is. And I mean, it's really like the best supplement to everything we can do. You don't need, a bunch of vitamins or special sleep aids or anything like that. We just need to have a good sleep routine, right? Set a time that you're going to go to bed pretty much every single time. We can have a little bit of range there, but go to bed about the same time, right? Wake up at the same time every single day. Like I said, set up your sleep routine, get off your phone, start turning down the lights, tell your body, hey, we're going to start winding down, we're going to get ready to go to bed, and do the things that are going to actually help signal your body that it's time to relax and I'm going to go to bed soon.
Yeah, I always say sleep is the number one performance enhancing drug. It really is the easiest way to improve energy, recovery, cravings, mood, all the things, and also see consistent progress on a weight loss journey, fat loss journey, muscle building journey, whatever it is. But most people ignoring it because it's not as sexy and it's kind of the first thing that we let slip when things get crazy. But if you're not sleeping 7+ hours, that's gonna be the first fix. Same with recovery. I think most people are under eating, over caffeinating, overtraining, and wondering why they're burned out, or just pounding a bunch of pre workout, stressing about supplements while getting 5 hours of just low quality sleep. So, sleep is going to be your best recovery tool, and it's also free.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what your goal is, right? I mean, prioritize sleep. And again, we're not talking about sleeping 9, 10 hours a day type of thing. We're just talking about doing what you need to get a good quality, and so that when you wake up, you don't feel tired. If you wake up and you feel super tired and you need to go get some coffee immediately, then we're not getting the quality sleep we need, right? So wind down 30 minutes, hour early, cut down the screen time, make your bedroom dark and cool, create that nighttime routine if you need it. We talked about like magnesium is great. I think everyone should have. I think that's just a supplement that a lot of people don't or have some kind of lack of, or deficiency in. So that'd be good. But basically, simple shifts, and it makes a massive, huge impact. So.
Yeah. And speaking of supplements, I feel like this is a good time to mention that too, because a lot of times when people hear simple and fitness and results, they immediately go to supplements. What are the supplements I should be taking? I feel like when a lot of people start, they're like immediately, all right, what supplements should I get on? And if you notice, supplements is not one of the items that we included in this episode as one of the things to focus on.
Yeah, I just mentioned magnesium, of course, but I mean, and that's if you're getting everything down, right? And
Mhm.
and their supplements are they're supposed to supplement everything else, right? That's the name, and they've done a fantastic job of marketing everything, and I think we need to look at simple versus easy, right? It's easy to take supplements to help us out, but we want to look at all the big rocks first. Are you locking in your workouts? Or is your nutrition locked in? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you controlling your stress? If the answer is no, then before you do any supplements, we need to get that all taken care of first. Then, if you're getting everything else in, then we can start playing around with supplements, and that's when we really start getting a really good place, and we're having fun with that. And again, we're just kind of optimizing our health journey. But until then, we just need to knock out those big rocks.
100%. Next up is some mindset tools. I feel like a lot of people only focus on the physical habits, the step, the macros, workouts, but I think a big key is the mental piece as well. And obviously the mental and physical go hand in hand, but I think it's important to also prioritize purely just some of the mental habits. Because you can lift 4 times a week, hit your nutrition targets, and still self-sabotage if your mind is all over the place. And we like to push clients to eventually add some sort of mindset habits to their day, whether that's journaling, prayer, meditation, just some time alone doing reflection, or just sitting still with yourself. I think it's all super important.
Yeah, our brain needs space. It needs time, right? It needs some quietness, some stillness, and we can't really operate our best if we're just constantly reacting, or we're constantly overstimulated, or which I tend to do this a lot. We keep things in, bottled up. We don't let it out, and all those things you mentioned are great ways. If you don't want to share with somebody else, or talk to other people, journaling, praying obviously is a fantastic way of talking out your issues. But I mean, even just like 5-10 minutes intentional stillness makes a huge difference, and it can be in any format, anywhere, at any time, as much as you want.
Yeah, for me, journaling, as I'm sure a lot of people know, that's been my biggest go-to tool. And also recently, like prayer every morning. And the key is it doesn't need to be perfect. Sometimes it's messy, but ultimately that's what helps me kind of get clear, tap into my creative mind, reset my energy, and stay grounded when life is super crazy. And I've been especially leaning into that more recently. Even, well, I keep coming down to this, but like usually my days are so freaking crazy. Like I'm just rushing from one thing to another. Literally do not have a single second to breathe or think throughout the entire day. And I feel like by the end of the day, especially by the end of the week, I am just so dead. Like I want nothing to do with anyone, anything. Like I just can't even think straight just because my mind's so crazy and I haven't had that space, especially being introverted. Like I need that space and time to myself. And so every week I try to take all of Sunday and just like not commit to any plans. I'm not hanging out with anyone. I'm literally just doing whatever I want, like spending a lot of time reading, journaling, literally just sitting there without other stimulation, without being on my phone, just anything, going to the beach. And it's like crazy the difference that I feel with energy. Like I just feel on top of the world, like so focused, so clear, like all sorts of creative thoughts, like business wise, just everything flowing. And then that carries over into Monday. Like Monday, I'm like wake up and I'm just like fired up and just so locked in. And so I think that's such a good testament to just show like how important it is to have that space, especially for me, just because I know like that's how I operate. But I think everyone needs that space where you just got to be with yourself and focus on your thoughts and dive into some of those like internal narratives and patterns.
Yeah, and I'm very similar, but everyone has to find their own way of doing it,
Mhm.
um, and sometimes it takes experimentation. You just kind of got to mess around with it. Some people like doing it in the morning, some people like doing it in the evening. Some people just do it in their car, just close the door and just kind of, whether they're writing, talking to the phone, or sometimes people I think create posts online. It's kind of like their way of like journaling, in the quietness of their car, but. Yeah, I mean, for me, prayer has been such a game changer in terms of creating stillness in my life, and so I'll do that, and it's amazing. Like if I'm upset or frustrated or stressed out about something, I talk to God. It's like, I mean, those things don't go away. I mean, I still have to deal with them, but He gives me this peace. It's almost like He's like I got it. Like, I'm here with you. I'll help you through this. So we'll be okay. And that just lifts everything off my shoulders.
Yeah, I love that. Especially when you operate in such a high stress environment. Like a lot of people are just super stressed with work, have a lot going on at family. It's just like take just that 5 minutes for yourself. Just like you train your body and your muscles, you got to train your mind as well. And I feel like a strong body doesn't mean as much without a strong foundation to carry it. So, like I said, we can make this as simple as possible. Take 5 minutes to brain dump if you're going to journal, take 5 minutes to breathe in your car, do some prayer or reflection while you're driving. I know you do that sometimes, or
Mhm.
like when you're on like commutes and whatnot,
Yeah, yeah.
or even gratitude. I feel like gratitude is one of the most simplest ways to do this. Is literally take 2 minutes, think of a couple things that you're grateful for, write down a couple things that you're grateful for. That can shift the outlook that you have on life, and it literally takes minimal effort.
Okay, how about this? It On your 3 minute walk, you know, while you're doing your 3 minute walk down the hallway and back, you know, do some gratitude, do some thinking, do some praying, and man, we're starting to stack up some big wins in 3 minutes
Yo,
every hour.
yeah, now we're talking. Yeah. So, lastly, to kind of tie it all together, I think one of the biggest traps is thinking that you need to do everything to make progress. People trying to train 6 days a week, cutting out sugar, carbs, whatever it is, tracking every gram, trying to hit 15, 20,000 steps, meditating, cold plunge, meal prep, journal, all the things. Obviously, if you're trying to do all that, you're going to crash.
Yeah, the whole it's all or nothing concept usually ends up just being nothing, right? So the real change is going to come from those small stacked habits. We talked about that, and those just compound over and over. And we don't need a whole new routine. We just need one habit that sticks and build on those habits, right? So we're not chasing perfection. What we want is you to chase consistency, right? Simplify it, show up, do that, repeat, simplify, show up, repeat again.
Yeah, ask yourself, what's the minimum effective dose I can do consistently? I feel like that's where the magic is. And I had this conversation with one of my clients too the other day. He likes to take on a lot. He keeps asking for more, and he's like, "No, I can do it. I can do it." I'm like, "Okay, but let's look at the track record. You haven't been consistent over the last few weeks, so clearly something isn't sticking. So let's pull back. Like, let's go back to the basic. Let's focus on what's important, what you can actually stick to, and let's go from there and build on that. And we can get back to this place where you like to be at, where you want to tackle all this, but." It doesn't make sense if you aren't able to do the stuff consistently. So we adjusted the plan just because he's going through a crazy busy season and he's already feeling like, oh, like I feel a weight is lifted off me. I feel a lot more aligned because I'm able to keep the promises and like when I commit to something, I follow through on it. So it really does make a big difference. So some examples with that is just start with a 10-minute walker. Like you said, your 3 minute walk. I think that's, I love that so much. 3 minute walk with gratitude if you want to get really crazy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Or just adding one protein based meal per day, going to bed 15 minutes earlier, just simple stuff like that. Again, you don't, even all the stuff that we covered here, I think these are all very simple things we can implement, but don't try to do them all at once, especially if you're not at that stage already. When you can focus on systems, that's when fitness gets a lot more simple. And that's how our clients go from chaotic and inconsistent to like pretty locked in, strong, thriving. We don't need more motivation, we need less friction around it. So build habits that fit into your life, not someone else's. So like we said, like sometimes I'll just journal in my car super quick, or I'll just do a quick prayer, or I'll just prep one protein source and just make sure that I have something for the next day, or I'll take my walk when I'm on calls. So it doesn't need to be perfect. You just got to keep showing up and be consistent. So if you're overwhelmed or burnt out, it's not because you're lazy. It might be because you're doing too much. Fitness should fit into your life. So strip it back, keep it simple, stay consistent with that. And if you need help building something sustainable, come hang with us inside our private school community. We'll walk you through it step by step. And until next time, we will see you guys next week.